Hi guys, I am back with a couple new videos this week. I think they're both going to be really easy, so when you're ready, let's get started. Okay, this one I think is really fun and really silly, kind of whimsical, and it only takes a few supplies. So, I'll start by showing you guys this. This is a picture from a magazine that I thought was kind of funny. It's a bunch of big pile of biscuits, and I decided to put a little stick figure at the top like he climbed the mountain, and he's sticking a flag in there and it says I rule because he rules, right? So I'm going to show you guys another one. This one I decided to be really silly with. I drew SpongeBob and I put him on this couch next to this really serious looking guy because I thought that would just be hilarious. So, do you guys get the idea yet? What we're going to be doing is I want you guys to look through old magazines or old calendar pages or old newspapers or even family photos, and I want you to choose one that you'd like the scene for and then add a drawing of something that's completely different that doesn't really belong there. So these are my two. I call these magazine collage doodles because that's essentially what you are, or what they are. You are doing a doodle, you're collaging, gluing that doodle into a magazine picture. So I'll post a supply list. All you're gonna need is some magazines, or like I said, old photos, calendar pages, newspapers, anything with good images in it, drawing paper, a pencil, and a glue stick. And then if you want to color them, you'll need colors, but you don't have to color them. So I'll post that list and then we will get started. I am using some old Bon Appetit magazines because it's the only magazine I happen to have that I keep. I haven't subscribed in a few years, but anyway, these have lots of like food images in them and some really cool ads. I have already picked out a picture that I'm going to use for this project. So this is a picture of a sink, and I already have an idea of what I'm going to do. So what you need to do is I want you guys to look through whatever your image source is. Like I said, magazine, newspaper, calendars, even books if your parents let you rip pages, and find something that you think is interesting. In this case, this was the first one I picked. I saw this big, huge stack of dinner rolls, and I want you to think about what you can add to it that'll make it silly or interesting in its own way. So I was like, a mountain of dinner rolls. What can I put at the top of a mountain? Oh, a guy putting a flag saying he scaled the mountain. So I decided just to do a stick figure, and stick figures are allowed on this project. Awesome, if you would like to just do a stick figure, because I think stick figures are actually really funny in this context. So I drew a stick figure, and I made him with a little flag that says I rule, and he's gonna stick it in that mountain. So the other aspect of this that I find interesting, and that I've seen in a lot of other places where they've done this, is they don't actually cut out around the individual picture. They make more like a square, so it purposefully looks like it was glued there. It doesn't look like it belongs there, it looks like it was placed on top. And the same thing happened with my SpongeBob. So I saw this ad and I saw the empty couch and was like, I have to put something on this empty couch. And I mean, SpongeBob just came to my head. I don't really like SpongeBob. In fact, I think he's kind of dumb. But he came to my head because this guy is so serious and SpongeBob is just so silly. So I drew SpongeBob. But if you look, I mean, his legs are cut off and his hands are cut off. And I left that white box around it. And then I glued it straight on that picture. So the one I'm going to be using for my example for you guys today is this picture of a sink. And when I saw this sink, the first thing I thought was, oh, I could put a boat in there. So I'm going to be drawing a boat. And what you're going to need is you're going to need your white paper. And I mean, you don't have to necessarily, don't trace anything, but do think about like the scale. Scale meaning size. So think about the size of your boat compared to the size of your picture. You know, think about the size of the thing you're adding, in this case SpongeBob, compared to the size of the picture. I did have to kind of measure it out a little bit, but if you want it to be really small or really big, just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing. And I'm going to draw, I'm drawing upside down so that way you guys can see it right side up. So please bear with me. I'm going to draw my water lines first because we're going to fill this sink with water. Okay? And then I'm just going to put a plain old, it's going to be like a rowboat. Nothing fancy. Just the shape of a boat in that water. Maybe there is a sail up here. I'm a little worried I'm getting too big. Okay. Sailboat. That's all right. But maybe there's a guy fishing. And I'm sorry, I cannot draw people upside down. So I'm going to draw that right side up. I'm going to do a stick person. Because for this project, I don't know, I just think stick people are funny. If you want to go more realistic, you can go more realistic. But the cartoony ones, they just work for this, you know? So I've got a rowboat, sailboat, whatever kind of boat you want it to be. Got a little guy in here and he's got a fishing pole and it's going down in the water. I would stick a fish here, but I'm afraid I'm not really going to be seeing it because I'm going to cut it off with my picture. So once you get your drawing done, you have to decide how you want to cut it out and how you want to glue it. So like I was saying before, I think they look really cool and almost like it was purposely placed there. If you just cut it in like a rectangle and don't necessarily cut around it. But I'm realizing here that I made mine really big. And I don't really want to cover up the sink spout because I want people to know it's a sink. So I'm kind of placing it on here, cutting it to fit. But if I just did that, you're not going to see anything. It's just going to look like a random boat. So in this case, I am going to go ahead and cut out around my picture, but I'm still leaving some white so that way you can go with that whole collage illusion. It's really just going to come down to what picture you decide to put in your scene and what else is in the scene already and what you want to include. Because like I said, in this case, I really want people to see. Okay, so I kind of did a really poor job of planning this out. That's okay. Mistakes happen, right? So I'm going to keep cutting so that way I can get the sink in here. There we go. That's better. At least now you can see the sink, right? And I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit of this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Okay, so that pretty much fits in my sink. I'm going to lower it. I'm going to cut this pretty much down to the edge. So keep playing with it until you get a good size. If you need to redraw something, don't be afraid to redraw something. That's pretty good. You know, it could have been better. I could have thought it out better, but I was working on the fly. Go ahead and stick some glue on there when you're happy with your shape. And just stick it down. And so there we go. If you wanted to color it, you could go ahead and color it. You could outline it in marker. You could kind of do whatever you want with it. I actually think these are really cool if you just leave them as a black and white pencil drawing, because that adds again to the idea that it's stuck there. It's pasted there. It doesn't belong there at all, right? It really doesn't. I mean, come on. These don't belong here, but they're really cool. So, I'll post some other examples that I found online of this idea as well. But go ahead, give it a try, and don't forget to send your photos to me because I would love to see them because I miss you guys so much. So much. It's crazy. I didn't think I would. as much as I do, but I really do. So we'll see you soon. Have fun.